Hey guys, so I'm doing post-commentary for this part because the audio messed up. I noticed the volume for my voiceover was incredibly high when I started recording, but none of my settings were different from normal. So I just decided to lower all of my settings to make the voiceover volume reasonable, which backfired when it randomly fixed itself halfway through the recording session, making my voiceover imperceptible over the game audio. Here, have a listen. Yeah, that's something I noticed earlier. It does just kind of stop after a while. It's still got the range. I tried to fix it, but that fell through since it was all recorded on one track, so I'll just walk you guys through what happened and my reactions. I hope you enjoy. So off camera, I grinded up enough runes to use Godrick's axe, and I'm pretty much probably going to use that for the rest of the run. I head down the mountain from the Lost Grace and check out this cathedral where I pick up a sacred tear and met Thops, who I donated 10 runes to so that he could share sorceries with me. I don't use sorceries, but it was just 10 runes, so I didn't mind giving them to the guy until I found out his name was Thops. I then figured out that sacred tears are this game's version of an Estus shard since it makes your Estus flask, or I guess your Crimson flasks, restore more of your health. I go ahead and use the sacred tear, and then test out my brand new boss weapon on this graveyard full of skeletons. This first guy went down after 2 kills, so I thought they were like Dark Souls 2 skeletons that stayed dead after being killed a couple of times. So I used my fucking awesome weapon art that's like the coolest thing about this weapon and is actually way better and more practical than I thought it'd be due to its decent AoE and damage. But after killing the skeletons several times, I realized they wouldn't stay down, so I continued down the hill to this encampment where me and my Ash of War wolves took out everyone, mainly due to the wolves constantly staggering each enemy while I came in with the obscenely heavy wind-up blows to annihilate them. Not long after, I found my next grace site, talked with this wandering merchant, bought the lantern from him since I knew it'd be useful in the future, and continued heading north. I eventually came across the Malefactor's Evergaol, and since it looked cool, I went to check it out. I was kind of cautious to enter it, and it turns out my instincts were right, because this was some kind of PvP boss fight against Adon, Thief of Fire. I did a ton of damage and stagger with each attack and had great range, but Adon could also put out some pretty massive numbers when he hit me. His flaming orb attack was my main concern, but it was slow enough to easily avoid and play around. Eventually, I was able to defeat Adon on my first try, and was rewarded the Flame of the Fell God miracle, and, to quote myself here, that was fucking sick. I knew I wasn't ever going to use that spell, but the encounter in of itself was rewarding enough. After going back to heading north, I found this cool little mini dungeon, the Lakeside Crystal Cave, where I got to use my lantern, so justified purchase already. And I fought a bunch of little goblin guys that kept ambushing me and jump scaring me until I had to take on the mini-boss of this area, some kind of hobgoblin werewolf guy. He was pretty tough, fairly agile considering his size, and did good damage, but ultimately my damage, range, and stagger outclassed him. I then spent a couple of seconds looking at this thing's haunting visage, wondering what other kinds of nightmare fuel I'd meet in this game, until I got my reward from here and moved on. I tried to take on this encampment of pyromancers I found a couple seconds later, and while I was able to take out their wizard guys pretty easily with my wolf backup, I got too greedy against their spell sword knight guy and got killed. After reviving at a nearby Stake of Marika, I rushed to the camp and cleared out all the easy guys as quick as I could before 1v4ing the knight guy and taking him out, gaining the Fire Monk's prayer book in the process. The camp's patrol came back too, but I pretty much focused down their knight guy, taking out the frail wizard dudes with the sheer AoE of my swings, and I was able to beat the patrol 4v1. After heading through this Blighttown-like swamp area, I came across the Demon Souls-looking village of Albinarix, where they hang a lot of people, and I spent like 5 minutes trying to figure out how to say Albinarix. There are a bunch of hollow-like villagers around that bleed nut, but like hollows they're a joke by themselves and barely a threat even in large groups like this, especially with a weapon with a massive swinging attack like Godrick's axe. After I make short work of them, I have a strange chat with this non-hostile NPC, and after spotting a Lost Grace site, I decide that that's a perfect place to end the video. Alright folks, that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and be on the lookout tomorrow and the day after for 2 more Elden Ring videos that will return to the normal live commentary format. See you guys in the next part. Peace.